CFM, the most happening music, the most important news, and most importantly, your views. The voice of Times of Oman, a Times of Oman radio station. CFM, let's talk.
Live on TFM and the TFM Facebook page. This is the live feed of TTV. Let's talk.
Hello and welcome to the Midday Update. These are the breaking news stories. The Ministry of Health today announced the registration of 3 new COVID-19 deaths in Oman. The death toll has now touched 188 in Oman due to the virus so far, the officials at the ministry informed. They have also extended their deepest condolences to the families of the deceased. The Ministry of Health announced the registration of 1,361 new COVID-19 cases in Oman today. The total cases in the country has now touched 42,555, which includes 25,318 recoveries and 188 deaths, according to the Ministry of Health. The ministry has urged everyone to adhere to social distancing instructions issued by the Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health, as well as staying at home and not going out unless necessary. Those were the COVID-19 updates. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The Environment Conservation Office at the Diwan of Royal Court has registered the return of the cream-coloured courser, a migratory bird, to the wildlife reserve in the governorate of Al-Wusta 2 years after it was last spotted in the sanctuary. Scientifically known as the Cursorius cursor, it is locally known as daraj or runner. It is one of the species of birds that are widely prevalent in the Arabian Peninsula. It lives in semi-desert, pebbled and sandy lands with little vegetation or near cultivated lands or dry or grassy plains. The birds are also found in the southern parts of the Sultanate at Al-Wusta's area of Jeddah, a typical sanctuary for living organisms and fungus. The Environment Conservation Office calls for the preservation of natural wealth and wildlife in the Sultanate by raising public awareness about environment protection. The number of Omanis who have tested positive for COVID-19 over the past 9 days is more than 1.5 times the new cases reported amongst expats in this period, according to government data. Figures from the Ministry of Health's Tarasood app as on July 1st showed that over the last 9 days, 3,876 foreign nationals tested positive for the disease compared to 6,242 fresh discoveries of the disease amongst Omanis. However, the total number of cases amongst expatriate workers in the country continued to be higher as of July 1st as compared to the distribution of COVID-19 amongst Omanis. As of July 1st, 16,847 people in the country, both Omanis and expats, continue to have the disease. The highest single-day rise in the number of COVID-19 cases amongst Omanis took place on 1st July when 862 fresh tests came back positive, followed by 23rd June when 853 new cases were reported. Conversely, the only time in the last 9 days that the increase in the number of cases among expats had crossed the 600 mark was on June 25th when 686 tests came back positive. The Board of Directors of Fisheries Development Oman approved the company's 5-year plan 2020-2025. It also approved a number of projects in the field of aquaculture that will contribute to the development of the fisheries sector as one of the promising sectors to contribute to the economic diversification, whether in raising government revenues, Omani exports, or employment. The meeting was chaired by Dr. Saud bin Hamoud Al-Habsi, Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries for Fisheries, Board Chairman of the Fisheries Development Oman Company. The meeting reviewed a study report by the founding committee, in addition to the planned programs and activities and following up their implementation and mechanism. The company is one of the investments of the Oman Investment Authority, OIA, after the consolidation of 3 of its investment initiatives in the field of fisheries, namely Blue Water LLC, Al-Wusta Fishery Industries, and Oceanic Shrimp Aquaculture LLC. Khalid bin Ali Al-Yamadi, CEO of Fisheries Development Oman, said, The strategic plan of the company is based on four main objectives, namely finding the infrastructure to the company's projects to develop aquaculture in the Sultanate, including hatchery projects and feed factories. The second theme aims to develop local capabilities to manage the sector and the future leadership of the company's projects in coordination with universities, colleges, and others to train young people and to refine their skills and knowledge in addition to on-job training. The third theme deals with research, studies, and development in the sector with regard to the types of fish that are cultivated in the Sultanate in terms of selecting the appropriate species that are suitable to the nature of the place, its characteristics and economics, as well as developing research related to the used fish feed. The fourth theme deals with opening marketing outlets to ensure marketing safe, sustainable, and high-quality fish at the local and global levels. He added, among the important projects approved by the Board of Directors at its meeting is a shrimp aquaculture project in the Bar al-Hikman in the Governorate of Al-Wusta, which will be implemented by the Oceanic Shrimp Aquaculture LLC in November 2023. It will be considered the largest project of this size in the Middle East. He further said, the board also approved a project for shrimp aquaculture in Kuwaima in the Wilayat of Jalan Banibu Ali, with a production capacity of 3,300 tons and an investment cost of OMR 13 million. The project will provide 140 jobs. The board also approved the expansion of the floating cages project in Koryat, which is supervised by the Blue Waters Company, with a production capacity of 5,000 tons of seabream fish in 2023. With regard to commercial fishing under the umbrella of Al-Wusta Fishery Industries Company, he pointed out that it was approved to build 2 tuna fishing vessels with a fishing capacity of about 10,000 tons for each vessel. Those were the news stories. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with our guests. And today we're talking about sports, so stay tuned. Welcome back. So as I said, today we're talking about sports and the importance of keeping sports tournaments safe during COVID-19. We're going to be joined by a person whose voice has added a lot of excitement to games. He's given us meaningful insights about players, stats, pitch, and a lot more. The person is none other than Mr. Shiv Gupta. Mr. Gupta, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Antara. Thank you, Antara.
Mr. Gupta, last time we spoke about what activities are going to reopen soon, but before I start with all of that, I wanted to ask you a question. Why are sports commenters so essential in this game?
Obviously, this sports commitment is important because most important part what we are thinking here is we are running through a very tough time, Antara, and the kind of commitments what we require is something not regular. It may cause not only your injury, it may cause lives actually. So it is very, very critical time phase even for the sports.
Right. And Mr. Gupta, you've been at the heart of all the action. Do you think, given the state of affairs now, it might change how things work? How about working remotely? Could this be something that you would possibly consider for later?
You're talking about the sports working remotely, or you're talking about in general sense?
No, commentary. Like when you do the commentary and stuff, do you think this could be something that you could do remotely at a later point or during this time?
Okay. So basically, yes. When there is a game going on, you are sitting in the stadium and giving comments on the sports. It is very much practical. But seeing anything on a television or on a camera and giving any comments would be slightly challenging as per my opinion. But yes, there is no choice. The good part about commentary part is you're not within the ground. You are staying safe. You are away from the active players. And you can always maintain social distancing while commentary. So I believe this is quite safer as far as the commentary job is concerned.
But you're also going to be missing out on the live excitement.
Definitely. It is. If you are not sitting on the ground, if you are sitting somewhere, different location and giving any sort of commentary, yes, you are going to miss that kind of excitement.
All right, so Mr. Gupta, Oman has qualified for the 2020 T20 World Cup. And do you think it's supposed to be later this year? Do you think we can go ahead with the schedules as planned?
First of all, it is a big achievement for Oman cricket. It is a kind of lifetime achievement for any cricketing nation which may be thinking, especially a country who have never played this kind of level. Definitely, Oman has also played in 2018 for qualifying T20 in India. But this is a big achievement for Oman cricket, and big congratulations and the best wishes to all the players, the committee members, and Oman cricket. But having said that, the situation is not great, and what the news what we are getting from Australian cricket authorities, especially the chairman of the Australian cricket, he mentioned a couple of weeks back that organizing World Cup looks very challenging this year. Most important part is Australia and New Zealand. These two countries have done extra tremendous job in terms of preventing COVID issue, and they may not take a chance by inviting countries to play cricket. It is not about only 16 teams who will be participating in the tournament. It will be huge fans. It will be organizers. It will be sponsors. It will be thousands and thousands of people who will be traveling for these kind of events. Even though if you do not allow a crowd to be a part of the stadium, if you do not allow them to enter in the ground, but definitely there will be 16 teams multiplied by 16 players in the team, plus support staff, plus media personnel, plus doctors, physio. A lot of people will be traveling along. There is definitely a challenge, which I'm sure the committee member would be considering. But having said that, the couple of statements which we saw in last 2 weeks, Mr. Ehsan Mani from ICC committee, who's from Pakistan, as well as all election, that these two people have commented that having this World Cup in October would be challenging for them.
Right. And Mr. Gupta, last time when we spoke, just to recap, you did mention that golf is an activity that I believe it has even started soon. There are tournaments and tours being organized. So could you tell me what other leagues and tournaments are already scheduled, like the dates are set? What else is coming up worldwide?
The most important and exciting for us is cricket, because what we are seeing is World Cup is coming up. So I am more concerned about cricket, and the Pakistan cricket team has been already in England, and West Indies and Pakistan, West Indies and England are playing warm-up games right now, and they have 3 test match and few one-day matches after that. So these are the things. Beside that, there are the Premier League football matches are going on. But most important part is when you talk about the world sports scenario, I would say that right now the cricket in terms of international tournaments.
You were mentioning the Pakistan team. So a couple of the players have tested positives. And how is this going to restrict traveling, and what kind of precautions do you think the organizers and the team will have to take?
Not couple of, there are 10 players of the Pakistan cricket team have been tested.
That's a significant number.
Which is very unfortunate.
Yes.
Yes, it is a big number. Only good part about this all the episode is they are the sports personnel. They are fit young boys doing workouts, and so chances of getting their recoveries are very high. And in fact, I heard a news that 6 of them are all set, and they'll be traveling over this week to Manchester. So it is a very good news for any sports lover that yes, this is unfortunate that 10 of them are infected, but the recovery is very good. So keeping fingers across, and this will also set a very nice example if this tournament goes well, this Pakistan and England and West Indies and England. If these two tournaments goes well, that gives a very big thumbs up and big sign to World Cup Cricket Organizing Committee to organize the World Cup. That is quite possible.
And it gives a good example to the people also that it is possible to continue doing what we're doing despite the pandemic. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Gupta, we'll take a quick commercial break and then we'll get back and we'll have some more discussion. Welcome back to the Midday Update. We are speaking to Mr. Gupta, who's telling us about the precautions that needs to be taken by players since all the tournaments and the championships have started. So, Mr. Gupta, we were just speaking about that. We were talking about the precautions that have to be taken. So, what kind of precautions are the organizers taking? Is there something specific that they're doing, like checking the players before they start a match, before, after? What kind of precautions are taken from the organizer's side?
See, having a cricket tournament on the international level is a big time job. It is not just a month or two. It gets planned a year in advance. And having this kind of issue, COVID-19, it is a big impact on any planner and any organizers. It is when you talk about having an international tour, when a team travels from one country to another country. These are the challenges which we face right now. Like, for example, the quarantine time. When team comes from a different nation to something like what is happening in England right now, where a few teammates have already tested positive. So what we are hearing from the news that they will be asked to have at least a couple of weeks, 10 days kind of quarantine time, which will be added a cost, which will be added a lot of efforts for the organizers. And most important part is providing them a nets facility, providing them a practice facility for these people, these players, to have a kind of activity so that they can prepare for the game.
And unfortunately, say for example, one of the players falls sick during the tournament. What happens in that case, during that short span of time? Do they have a backup plan for that?
This is something would never, nobody would like to hear ever. Why? Because suppose there is a tournament is going on and one player get infected. Most important part is it will be like a scary environment across. People will be thinking that who else is infected. And most important part for the organizers that they have to find the source of the infection, from where the infection has come. Because all the precaution has been already taken care. The crowd has been removed. There is no extra people sitting in the dressing room. Social distancing has been followed. Still there is infection. There is a positive case in the dressing room. That may completely spoil the party. You don't know, the tournament may be in a scenario of getting cancelled. So this is the last thing any organizers would like to see, that during the tournament anybody gets infected.
Because it also puts a question on their protocols. Maybe it kind of shows that they have missed out something, they haven't done their checks properly. And okay, for example, this happens not during the tournament but during a practice session. So what kind of sanitization procedures do the organizers, or should the organizers take during a practice session? The locker rooms, the stadium, the entire field, how does that work?
See, when I'm seeing these kind of practices, I've been talking to the few players who will be playing the state level. Like in India, we have a Ranji tournament. Although the precautions have been, all sports activities has been put on hold, but there are certain indoor level games, certain practice sessions are going on after the lockdown has been opened up. There are precautions, there are instructions has been given to the players, like not sharing the locker room, not sharing the towel, not sharing the bottle of water. If may God forbid anything happens during the practice session, but the good part would be you still have a time to replace the player. If a player gets infected, you would have time to replace him with another player for the main game. But as you said, that if something happens during the tournament, during the game is on, then it will be very challenging.
Absolutely. So we were talking about cricket, now a little about golf. So I believe in an interview, Harris English, who tested positive for COVID-19 and he withdrew from the tournament. He expressed his disappointment, but at the same time he praised the organization for the protocols. Even Justin Rose, He said that he felt very safe that all the protocols were in place. Now, I believe this sets a very good example to the people. Now, these sportsmen, they're also public figures. How important is it for them to always, when they do have an infection, they come out, they are open about it, they express it in a positive light? How important is it for sportsmen to continue to do that? And in case someone doesn't, they make a negative remark, how can it affect the people?
When you talk about a sports figure, they are representing the country, they are representing the nation. So their behavior set up the roadmap. It's a set up the roadmap. So if they come up and say that yes, I've been tested positive, I'm pulling out of the tournament, even though there is a huge money involved. Obviously, if you talk about golf, if you're talking about any such games, we have a lot of commitments are involved, a lot of financial commitments are involved, I would say. But still, the player is coming up and withdrawing the name. That sets up a big example for others. People who follow sports, they can always come and say that this guy, look at this guy, he will be losing millions and still he is coming and withdrawing his name. That sets up a very positive example. And at the same time, if you have those people who are hiding their issues and they are not disclosing and they are causing infection to others, that also sets a very negative example for them. And for others, so in going future, when you have a selection kind of a criteria, when to choose, whom to choose, obviously those kind of negative player will be eliminated.
Do you know of any such cases? You, of course, don't have to name them for confidentiality reasons.
I would prefer not to name, as you said, that as of now, I can say that I will skip this question. I would not name anybody, even though I know them.
But have there been cases? Or everyone's being good right now, they're placing health first?
To be very honest with you, not at the international level. There has been such cases where people or players have hidden their disease or their infections. But yes, when you talk about the local level, there would be some cases where people would be saying, that's fine, let's continue and play the game. But definitely not at the international level.
Mr. Gupta, we'll end on a lighter note. I'm going to take one quick question from the audience. So we have a question which is, can we expect a change in their uniform? Can we expect them to come with masks or gloves or any other changes?
Okay, that is a very good question. I remember there was a scenario where India and Sri Lanka were playing a test match in Delhi, and there was a pollution issue when the pollution level in Delhi was very high. All Sri Lankan players were wearing the mask and played the game. So we have already seen this kind of situation where people have used the mask. So you never know. That could be these days when you see that there is a weddings uniforms beside the uniform, there will be a mask matching to your uniform is coming. You never know. There will be a white patch of the mask will be coming which will be asked all the players to wear it while playing. But practically, it is not safe because a lot of doctors are saying that while doing the exercise, you should avoid using the mask. It may cause some breathing issue. So nobody knows about it.
We'll just have to wait it out and see what they do. But it wouldn't be new because we've already seen that happening earlier. So, Mr.
Exactly,
Gupta,
we have seen it.
Well, Mr. Gupta, that was a very interesting session. And that's it for our episode today. I would like to thank you once again for joining us.
You are most welcome.
We'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's it for our episode today. We'll be back on Sunday, so stay tuned to TTV.